Hazel Crest Police Chief Mitchell Davis has a decorated law enforcement career. Over 30 years, he's been named Police Officer of the Year, Police Chief of the Year. But last Friday, he took on a title that no other black man or woman has had before. He was sworn in as president of the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Artie.
That is a very powerful moment there. Chief Davis breaking new ground in the organization's 80-year history. And look at the dais, only one other person of color there. We are pleased that Chief Davis is able to join us live this morning. Good morning to you, sir. Congratulations.
Good morning, Zoraida.
So we just mentioned, we're so delighted to have you this morning. We just mentioned that in 80 years, you are the first black man or woman. Are you surprised by that?
I am and I'm not. It's kind of just the nature of our profession. And, there's not been a lot of people of color that have been in these positions. So out of 1,300 members of our organization, I can imagine that this is not the first time, or that it is the first time, but, we're going to break the ground now and we're going to move forward.
It's quite a distinction, sir. So you are the president of the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police, which is a big title. What is the job description? What do you do on a day-to-day?
So I'm still the chief in Hazel Crest, but this is an assignment whereby I am the leader of an organization of, as I mentioned, about 1,300 members throughout the state of Illinois. We're responsible for dealing with legislative matters, for professional development for our members, and making sure that we have a great reputation and partnership with those outside of law enforcement and inside of law enforcement.
So you've mentioned their legislative matters. You've come out as a supporter of the criminal justice bill Governor Pritzker signed in February. So in part, it ends cash bail. It requires all police officers in Illinois to wear body cameras. In your eyes, what is still missing from that bill?
So I think that there needs to be some refinement to the bill. While I believe that criminal justice reform absolutely needs to happen, positive criminal justice reform, there are just some things in the bill that need to be tweaked as far from operational standpoint. And I think that the collaboration with the Illinois Chiefs and our technical expertise, along with the legislators and the desires that they want to achieve, I think we can find out what we can come up with a happy medium.
Can you give me an example of that?
An example might be, talk about body cams. While we are absolutely for body cams, one of the things about body cams that's in the legislation is that if an officer forgets to turn on their body cam, they could possibly be charged with a felony. And we believe, and the legislators have said, that that wasn't really the intent. The intent was for people who did malicious things as far as turning off their body cam to try to hide something. So adjusting the wording and something like that to make it okay to move forward, that's one of the real big things that we're talking about as well.
Okay. Here in Chicago, we've had several high-profile cases of police foot chases ending with a deadly shooting by police. The latest was Anthony Alvarez. The mayor has called for reform on foot chases. She says she doesn't like them. What are your thoughts on the pursuit tactic?
Well, it's my opinion that foot pursuits are absolutely necessary. For criminals to know that if I commit a crime and the officers aren't allowed to chase me, that's going to escalate things even more. The Chicago Police Department takes thousands and thousands of guns off the street every year, more than I believe New York and LA combined. There's so many murders every year. And if criminals know that whatever I do, if I run and the police can't chase me, that's going to make things even worse.
We know more than many other jobs, being a police officer, risking your life on a daily basis is really kind of a family thing. And so I wanted to know how your family feels about you taking on this new responsibility.
Well, it's interesting that you actually asked that. My mom, I lost my dad last year, and my mom was sitting in the swearing-in ceremony, and afterwards she told me, she said, I was talking to your dad. She says, I really was scared, and I didn't know what you would have to take on with this position. But once I heard you speak, she says, I knew everything was going to be okay, and I told your dad that.
That's a beautiful, beautiful way to end this. I have so many more questions for you, so I'm hoping you'll come back so that we can talk about some of these situations that have happened and your thoughts behind those. Chief, Hazel Crest Chief and President of the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Ryan.